Welcome to the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis, Missouri. The beginning of the all-time rosters franchise features the all-time Eagles and the all-time LA St. Louis Rams. It should be a good one today to begin an incredible season. Two outstanding franchises meet here in St. Louis. That's Steve Van Buren for the touchback. The starting quarterback, it was a hotly debated and hotly contested quarterback battle won by the human joystick, Randall Cunningham. Nick Rice, Hank Cinnamon on hand for this one today between the Eagles and Rams. Leader at the controls is this guy, Randall Cunningham, who is one of the most dynamic QBs in the league. The all-time Eagles, with him at the controls, should be one of the best offenses in football. Van Buren on the call. It's been to the 26. A gain of 6 in front of Aaron Donald of the Rams. Let's check out the Eagles offense. And Hank, your thoughts of this very talented Philadelphia offense.
Yeah, well, it's a Hall of Fame looking Eagles offense. You add Leonard Weaver, who only spent about 2 seasons with the Eagles. And with Randall Cunningham, really one of the first quarterbacks that helped put the Eagles on the map in the 90s.
Not too often the Eagles ran a wildcat, and Mike Quick is buried for a loss. Now the Eagles are going to have their hands full today against this brilliant Rams defense. Merlin Olsen, Aaron Donald, Deacon Jones, Jack Youngblood, and Nolan Cromwell, 4 of the 5 inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In fact, the Rams have a total of 7 Hall of Famers on that defense, and more to come with a guy like Aaron Donald patrolling the middle for the LA St. Louis defense. Third down. Cunningham to Van Buren. He's got it for a gain of 6 and a first down.
Most people forget that Steve Van Buren was a really good running back for the Eagles, especially in their first 2 NFL championship games. He was the only guy who's actually scored a touchdown in one of those championship games.
McCoy was a very capable playoff performer too, and he picks up 4 on the run. You know, Van Buren is the number 1 guy, but this is a running back core that goes very deep with a lot of playmakers at that position. Van Buren is the one Hall of Famer, however. Carmichael over the middle, gained 7 and a first down.
One could say that Harold Carmichael was very lucky to make the Hall of Fame after about 30 years of not even being inducted. Getting inducted in that, like, if you were in the NFL, if you were retired for like such a long period of time, they'd put you in just as like a, hey, congratulations. But I'm glad he made it in.
Carmichael does have the most receiving yards and touchdowns in Eagles history, and it is a deep history at the receiver position. And of course, he helped guide the team to the Super Bowl. Robertson buries the running back at the 46-yard line. Carmichael is just one of a couple very good Hall of Fame receivers. McDonald and Pijos also enshrined in Canton for Philly. Cunningham evades a tackle but slides short of the marker. A perplexing decision, and the Eagles will punt.
Yeah, I mean, he was putting himself out there. He probably could have gotten the first down, but you want to protect yourself for the rest of the game. But not a very good look if you're trying to propel yourself to win a game against a really good team like the Rams.
A 31-yard net punt for Donnie Bones Jones. That's Kurt Warner to the field for the all-time Rams, one of 2 quarterbacks in this franchise enshrined in Canton. This guy is the highest-rated passer in franchise history and helped guide the team to a couple of Super Bowls in the turn of the century. He leads the Rams offense. Here's Dickerson on the draw. Taken down after the gain of 6, maybe 7 on the play. Eric Allen with the tackle. This is an outstanding Rams offense. Eric Dickerson is the man in the middle. Dick Bass at fullback. Elroy Hirsch and Torrey Holt out wide. And Red Phillips is the tight end.
A lot of people forget that Kurt Warner was a guy that everybody looked over. He bounced around practice squads, bounced around NFL Europe, I believe bounced around in Arena League football, and eventually got his shot with the Rams after a freak injury with the quarterback at the time.
Well, he could have certainly used a guy like Eric Dickerson to join Falk in the backfield. Dickerson goes all the way for a 72-yard rushing touchdown.
Yeah, Eric Dickerson is one of those guys who is big-bodied, could could lay his weight around, but he also had speed.
Extra point is good. Dickerson, all sorts of speed on that run, and goes the distance for the touchdown. He was one of the star performers of the preseason and certainly showed how good he is in the regular year. It is a very intriguing running back battle the Rams had between him and Falk, and Dickerson got the narrow edge as the team's number one running back. Philadelphia will begin their next drive on the heels of the brilliant touchdown from Dickerson. First down to the 20. One of the star tight ends of the Eagles, Pete Rutzlaff, the man in motion. Cunningham goes deep, and that pass is reeled in by Quick. What a grab, a gain of 37 on the play.
They don't call him Mike Quick for no reason. He just got right by the defensive back and just got up and caught that one. Great job getting both feet in.
Quick beats a member of the Hall of Fame, Enos Williams, for the first down. Quick, who helped guide the team to one of their better runs in the 1980s with 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. He was outstanding, catching passes from that guy, Randall Cunningham. A short gain with Irvin on the tackle.
Yeah, that was a nice little game by Randall Cunningham. You always have to expect him running the ball out of the pocket.
He's the team's all-time leading rusher. Cunningham buried by Deacon Jones, one of the greatest pass rushers in NFL history.
Well, when you are going up against a lineman, I think that's Jason Peters, you got to be better by Jason Peters blocking that play.
Absolutely. They're capable of protecting that right side. Carmichael short of the marker. It is a rarity to see Peters give up that type of play. The Eagles, including the guys in the 21st century, have a very good, somewhat unheralded offensive line. Jones is going to throw it on 4th and 5, and the punter is incomplete.
Well, he's Donnie Bag-O-Bones Jones, but he didn't bag that bone. Sorry, Phil.
Yeah. Phil's going to love that one. A 4th down attempt that goes awry for Andy Reid and the Philadelphia special teams. Dickerson is buried for a loss. Let's check out the Philly defense. Reggie White and Brian Dawkins, the Hall of Famers in the left, join Chuck Bednarik, Eric Allen, and Clyde Simmons. Those are the 3 guys on the left, if you include Concrete Charlie, Chuck Bednarik. This defense has playmakers at every level. It should be very, very tough for teams to consistently move the ball against that unit. The Rams closed the first quarter with a run for Dickerson and a gain of 2. We played a quarter from St. Louis, and the Rams lead the Eagles by 7. We're back right after this. Welcome back. NFL kickoff in the all-time rosters franchise. Nick Rice joined by Hank Cinnamon for the NFL debut of Randall Cunningham in Philadelphia, that outstanding offense against Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk, and the phenomenal all-time Rams. Philadelphia is going to get a crack at it here, and it'll give us another chance to check out quarterback Randall Cunningham. It was a very, very contentious quarterback duel going into the regular season as Johnny Hecker sends it away. Cunningham, McNabb, Jalen Hurts, and Ron Jaworski, 4 guys vying for that number 1 spot, but Cunningham got the nod.
Yeah, those are 4 guys who you could say that you'd want them starting at quarterback. And hey, Cunningham had the talent, more talent than the other guys, and he was able to earn the job.
Cunningham takes off, and he's got enough for the first down. Now, we had talked about it earlier about Cunningham and whether or not he should be the number 1 guy, and really the one area that you can point at as a sign of weakness was his inability to get over the hump in the postseason. But from weeks 1 to 17, he was very good as both a runner and a passer. Van Buren decked by Jones on a gain of 2.
Once a team like the Minnesota Vikings put talent around Randall Cunningham, like Chris Carter and Randy Moss, he really excelled to be an MVP caliber quarterback.
Cunningham is back on 2nd down, throws the slant to Tommy McDonald for a gain of 7 on his first target of the game. Randall Cunningham was the runner-up for the MVP twice 1988 and 1990, and it was certainly disappointing the year he got hurt, where it felt Philadelphia had their greatest chance to make it to the Super Bowl, but they just could not capitalize on those runner-up MVP seasons. Cunningham gains 9. He's been a weapon running the football. First down, Philadelphia.
The Rams really need to start employing a spy over the middle, or else Randall Cunningham will easily be able to get 4 and 5 yards there.
And he's doing this against one of the great defensive lines of the all-time roster franchise, McCoy buried by Richter. When you look at Merlin Olsen, Deacon Jones, Jack Youngblood, Kevin Green up front, and Aaron Donald, who will be a Hall of Famer soon, this defensive line is ridiculously good. It's amazing they're moving the ball as regularly as they have. Cunningham sacked by Robustelli, another star defensive end for the Rams.
Well, that there could have been commenters' jinx, because the Rams were listening to you and they sacked Randall Cunningham real quick.
The Rams have been the NFL's #1 defense 4 different years during just the Super Bowl era. Flag is down. Cunningham to the end zone. There's Brown, who's got it for the score.
Holding offense.
Well, that's coming back.
Still third down.
A.J. Brown, who needed every one of the many catches he had in the preseason just to win a roster spot, one of the most contentious receiving position battles in the league, the Philadelphia Eagles. Brown earned the nod and scores a touchdown in his first target of the regular season, and it all's for naught. Ramsey knocks away that pass to McCoy, and the Eagles will punt with 3:53 left in the first half.
Sometimes a holding penalty is only a holding penalty because the quarterback holds the ball too long, and I think that was a situation where that happened.
Jones sends it to Henry Ellard, who takes a tumble to the 29. Weaver makes the stop. Cunningham, if there is also one area why he maybe didn't succeed as much, the passing success. He was hit and miss, around a 60% completion thrower. While his running was second to none as a human joystick, his passing left a little to be desired by all-time standards. Dickerson on the run leaves nothing to be desired running the ball, 14 yards and a first down.
And when your tackling is as bad as that, you'll just let him go through and he'll get an easy first down.
Dickerson, this time buried to the line by Fletcher Cox.
That's a guy who may never, ever be in an Eagles uniform again, might retire, and Fletcher Cox had every much of a great career as Jason Kelce did.
Hall of Fame all-decade teamer, incomplete over the middle. That Eagles defensive line, a lot of 21st century guys, and Fletcher Cox is one of them, former first-round pick in 2012. They were fortified up front with guys like Brandon Graham and company, and should be a very good defensive front. Warner throws to Hirsch, and that pass is incomplete. The defense for the Eagles has held up for a majority of the half.
Yeah, and after that first drive, when Dickerson just ran all over them for like an 81-yard touchdown, it's good to see them buckle down and see if they can back the offense up a little bit.
Well, it looks like they nearly did. Another new area guy in Johnny Hecker nearly drove it in for a touchback. 2:27 left. Philadelphia in back-to-back drives has entered Rams territory, but has nothing to show for it. First down, inside run to Steve Van Buren, and he is buried at the 21 by Les Richter. The Eagles running back core consists of Steve Van Buren as the 1, LaShawn McCoy as the 2, followed by Wilbert Montgomery and Brian Westbrook as the reserve spots for Philadelphia. Second down, Cunningham against the blitz, check down to McDonald. It was wrapped up near the marker, and the Eagles run a no huddle. Cunningham. Pijos makes the grab. The officials come in, and they say, yes, he's got it for the first.
That was a nice toe tap there by Pijos to get the first down.
And Randall Cunningham is showing some moxie right now for Philadelphia. He gets rid of it into traffic, and broadcasters jinx-filled, nearly picked off by Williams.
That was a deadly pass. Could have been intercepted and could have been a pick six.
Cunningham, a hit-and-miss performance in the first half of the game, and he's going deep. Another long ball, this time to Quick, who makes the catch, and it looks like he's shaken up on the play. Wrapped up at the 16. Let's check out that play again. Quick burns Williams, but is out of the game right now.
I'm wondering if that name Quick was a last name that was given to him, because, man, if I had a last name Quick, you'd guess that I definitely did something with running.
Two-time first-team All-Pro, five-time Pro Bowler out of NC State, one of the fastest receivers in the league in the 1980s. An 8-yard gain with Cromwell on the tackle. I mean, he's been the home run threat. You'd think it'd maybe be McDonald or Brown, but it's been Mike Quick who has been their home run ball. We'll see if he returns at some point later in the game. Is the first major injury Philadelphia sustains in this one. Second down, Cunningham takes off even though he had a guy open on the screen. Timeout after the sack and loss of 4.
Yeah, with Cunningham being not as good of a passer, he may not have seen that. His first instinct might have been to just run it.
Van Buren on the run, near the marker, but the officials will bring in the chain gang to measure this one. And they say no, just a little bit short that time. The Eagles, David Akers, one of the greatest field goal kickers in NFL history, named to the all-decade team of the 2000s, and the all-time Eagles leader in field goals, buries this one from 23.
David Green Akers is good. He always would put his hands up to the sky to, like, bless God or something like that every time he kicked a field goal. So I always thought that was pretty cool.
That's right. He was just calm and cool as collected for the Eagles for many years, and then took a journey across the NFL towards the tail end of his career. An undrafted free agent turned into a fringe Hall of Fame player. Guys like Devin Hester getting in, maybe that opens the door for a guy like David Akers at some point. Warner begins the drive with a great job in the pocket, and that pass is incomplete, knocked away by Bill Bradley.
That was yet another kind of deadly pass. He definitely could have been intercepted. Probably should have just been thrown out of bounds.
Warner and the Rams are going to go for it with a 4-point lead and the ball late in the half, and they'll call timeout. So this is a very precarious third down situation. You don't want to give Cunningham and company too much time. They need the 30. Warner guns it downfield to Phillips. He's got it for the gain of 8, and the Rams will run a no huddle. Warner hasn't had much of a chance to pick apart the defense. On first down, he throws, and it's nearly intercepted on the play.
That's another one. I don't know why you're screen passing in that situation. You got to be going downfield. You have like 30 yards till you hit field goal range. I don't know why you screen there.
Warner buried in the backfield, and the timeout's called. You know, the guy calling plays, Hank, it's Sean McVay. He's the head coach of the Rams. Now, you can go a lot of ways. Dick Vermeil is certainly a capable guy as head coach for them. But McVay, you know, boy genius, maybe out thinking the room right there. Falk buried on one of the final plays of the half. Timeout, Philly.
Yeah, you should have just ran the ball if you were going to try to score. But I guess the first play is an incomplete pass. Second play is just got to be downfield. And I guess the third down one, it's not a bad idea to run it if you don't think you have a chance.
The return man, Brian Westbrook, is dropped to the 29-yard line. There hasn't been much offense in the first half of the game. We saw Dickerson rip off the long touchdown early in the first quarter, and Philadelphia was able to capitalize on a red zone trip with a David Akers field goal. Van Buren is buried, and with that, we've played 2 quarters. Second half from Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis coming up right after this. We're at the half, and the Rams lead by 4. Welcome back, Nick Rice, Hank Cinnamon. Glad you're with us from Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis, Missouri, the previous site of the Rams before they moved to Los Angeles in the mid-2010s. But this was the site of so many incredible playoff games and an outstanding franchise. And you know, Hank, as great as the Rams and exciting as the Rams are in Los Angeles, just not the same atmosphere as the greatest show on turf years in the late 90s and early 2000s for this ball club. Warner to Dickerson on a screen. He evades the first tackle and gains 7 on first down.
if I can remember it correctly, this was a team that it felt like from 99 to 2000 and maybe 3 that you thought to yourself, this team really can't be stopped. Like nowadays, we think about Patrick Mahomes being a seemingly unstoppable quarterback. That's what a lot of people thought about Kurt Warner after he had that magnificent season in 99. And some could say it was even better in 2001 when he won MVP in both of those seasons.
Shoot, even the 2000 season, they actually were on a pace to break all of the NFL records. I mean, it would have been a ridiculous season had Warner stayed healthy throughout the year when Marshall Faulk won MVP in 2000. They had one of the great offensive lines in the league, led by Orlando Pace, Hall of Fame, and on that front for the all-time Rams, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, so many playmakers with Vermeil at the controls. On second down, Warner throws to Phillips near the marker, and they give him the first down.
It's really a mystery to me how that team petered off throughout the years in the 2000s, because they always had a talented team. They always had a talented roster. They even had Mark Bulger, who was a good quarterback, Steven Jackson, who was a great running back, Bruce Holt. I really don't understand how that organization completely flatlined, especially from 2007. Pretty much
as bad
all
as
the way
were
until McVay became the coach.
Right. Second down, and Warner airmails this one out of bounds. You know, the Rams, it was incredible the heights they fell off of, like you mentioned. They were the number one offense in the NFL 3 years in a row, led by an MVP every single season. It's incredible how good that offense was, and the fact they didn't win another Super Bowl, as Eller reels it in, we've got another man down, and that is one of the greats in Philadelphia history, Brian Dawkins. In fact, he arguably is the greatest player in the franchise's history. He takes a shot right into the chest and is down.
That's not good, because Brian Dawkins is one of the hardest hitting safeties that there's ever been. I think there's only been one time in which I've ever seen him writhing in pain, and it's because he had a concussion in 2007. That's not good.
Yeah, Brian Dawkins missed at the most a dozen football games with Philadelphia. It was really just the one season you were talking about. And then he joined Denver, who's relatively healthy too. You certainly are crossing fingers that he'll be okay. It was Mike Quick on offense, and now Dawkins on defense. The injuries, make sure to tune in on Monday to get the status on whether or not these guys will be okay moving forward. Dickerson and the Rams face 3rd and 5 after the short run. Opening drive of the third quarter for this offense, as they have something brewing, trying to take a 2-score lead. Faulk on the call, and Bradley brings them down. The Rams will settle for a field goal with a little under 3.5 to go in the third. This is Jeff Wilkins, another member of the greatest show on turf. A 50-yard try to extend the lead. Hold from Roman Gabriel. The kick is long enough. It's drifting and is no good.
Wow, Jeff Wilkins was a seemingly automatic kicker in the early 2000s to mid 2000s as well. Surprising that kick was no good.
Absolutely. Cunningham is hit as he throws. Deep shot again. Intended for Brown. That's Meter, knocks it away. I feel Brown is most likely getting a bigger run because of the injury of Mike Quick, as Brown is buried in the depth chart. And also to your note of Jeff Wilkins, you know, he's one of the only kickers to go an entire season without a single miss. That was in 2000, so he really was automatic. Crazy stuff going on right now in St. Louis. 3rd and 7 coming up for Philadelphia.
I want to see Randall Cunningham try to get a first down here, because the last few times they've been stopped on 3rd down.
He throws to A.J. Brown right at the marker. They'll bring in the chains. Great open field stop by Eddie Meter, one of the stars of the 60s defense for the Rams. He's a little bit short. A tough break for Brown of the Eagles, and Philly will elect to punt late in the third quarter.
You know, modern day Eagles would just line up and push it right in there.
Right.
But I guess this Madden, 2011, 2012, that's not going to happen there.
Jones pins him out of the 4-yard line. Maybe not the worst idea, as Jones is your punter for Philadelphia. One of the greats of the 2000s out of LSU. Played with 6 different teams, including the Rams, did Donnie Jones, along with Philly. Nick Bass, the fullback, gains 5 on first down.
Yeah, Bag of Bones Jones, Donnie Jones was the Eagles punter from like 2014 all the way until 2017, where the Eagles won the Super Bowl and he retired, but he didn't actually retire.
Well, Torrey Holt, when he retired, was one of the greatest receivers in Rams history. And it's number 3, Darius Slay, that saves the touchdown. 126 yards today for Warner, and a lot of that to that guy, Torrey Holt.
Yeah, Torrey Big Game Holt, which he was called, who was actually tackled right here by Big Play Slay. Torrey
right.
Holt was actually like a slot receiver when he came into the NFL, and then once Azazir Hakim left the Rams, he became a starter.
You know, it's like, you know, two of the same, Holt and Bruce. You have Isaac Bruce in the Hall of Fame, and Holt is trying to sneak his way in. It's a very, very tough thing. And in fact, you know, Holt is, you know, statistically right up there receiving wise with Bruce. So it's really a hard argument to have one guy in and another guy out. They needed both of them to win like they did in the 2000s.
Well, the thing is, Isaac Bruce was good in the 2000s, but not very many people remember the fact that in the mid-90s, he was actually one of the best receivers, like super underrated in the league.
This is another underrated receiver, Marshall Faulk, for the touchdown.
Marshall Faulk running that, I think, what is it, Texas or an Oklahoma route over the middle.
That's right, Texas.
And nobody's covering him, nobody's in the zone, and he just exploits it.
Marshall Faulk, the Hall of Famer who has the 5th most yards from scrimmage by anybody in NFL history. That's because he wasn't just a running back, he was a phenomenal receiving back and scores the critical touchdown. The Rams are beginning to pull away here, and with 2 seconds to go in the third, have the 14-3 edge. Brian Westbrook from the goal line gets a block and is buried at the 21-yard line. 8 minutes left. The Rams 14 and the Eagles 3. The fourth quarter coming up next. Welcome back. Nick Rice and Hank Cinnamon on hand. It is the NFL kickoff. The greatest 53 Eagles and the greatest 53 Rams. These guys had to fight through an entire preseason and the roster cut days in order to get to this spot, and it should be an incredible year for everyone involved. And you certainly cross fingers guys like Dawkins and Quick will be okay. Philadelphia working with Pete Pihos, Harold Carmichael, and Tommy McDonald at receiver now with Quick out. Draw to Van Buren, who heads to his left and gains 5 on first down. The Eagles are going to quickly run the no huddle. Down by 2 scores, this isn't a bad idea. Cunningham from the gun. Second down, he's looking deep and fires as far as he can towards the end zone. Tipped from Carmichael and incomplete.
I think one of the biggest issues with the Eagles in this game is the fact that they've gotten really unlucky with the chain spot and the fact that they haven't been able to get a lot of yards after the catch.
That's right, a couple of 1 inches away. Out cut to A.J. Brown, and he this time has enough for the first down. A.J. Brown, top 5 in the league in receiving in 2022 and 2023. He was a phenomenal midseason acquisition from Tennessee, and certainly a difference for Jalen Hurts at receiver. McCoy inside gains 9 on the play.
A.J. Brown has got to be the first wide receiver since pretty much I've been a fan that has gone over 1,000 yards for like 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah, Terrell Owens lost the battle, and Deshaun Jackson at receiver. It was very shocking they aren't on the final 53 for Philadelphia, but A.J. Brown was every bit as productive as those guys at receiver and has a chance to do it longer with Philadelphia. Van Buren inside gains a couple, taken down by Merlin Olsen. Under 6 minutes left. Philadelphia desperate for points. They need a field goal at least to make it a 1-score game. Cunningham to Carmichael over the middle for 13 and a first down.
Harold Carmichael is a lanky receiver who played really well for the Eagles in the late 70s, early 80s. Boy, would be glad to have a guy like him back on the team.
Well, you're in good hands. Philadelphia is one of the deepest all-time receiving corps of any franchise. It's amazing how many, solid receivers you guys have had. Maybe not quite a Jerry Rice on the team, but a lot of very, very good guys. Slant to not Deshaun Jackson. This is Harold Jackson for the gain of 8. Cunningham is showing some real poise now in the fourth quarter of this one. Cunningham off the no huddle finds McCoy over the middle. First down to the 11-yard line.
There's LaShawn McCoy playing the receiver position, which he ran the screen about as well as anybody else could.
McCoy, one of the greatest receiving backs in franchise history. Here's Brian Westbrook in for the touchdown. A big fourth quarter score for Philadelphia.
Now, Nick, what do you think they do? Do you think they go for 2 here?
Oh, absolutely. You got Andy Reid as head coach.
Well, I know what Doug Peterson would do. Big balls Peterson.
That's right, by the words of Jason Kelson. I'd say Phil too. In fact, they will. Cunningham tucks and is denied.
Well, it was a good effort. It was a good chance. Regardless, you're still down 1 possession. You still would have needed a touchdown if you had scored the extra point.
And with that, it is a 5-point game. The defense of Philadelphia called upon to make a stop as Eller downs the ball for a touchback. But Randall Cunningham showed some moxie in that drive as he found just about every receiver and even running back on the Eagles roster en route to that touchdown possession. Warner hit as he throws deep to Elroy Hirsch. First time we've heard of him, 18-yarder for the Hall of Fame receiver of the 1950s. And with 4 minutes left, the Rams are driving.
That was a great job by Warner, just fitting it in there, right in the zone. Receiver was going to get smacked. He was going to get smacked, but he still completed it.
Warner going deep, and it is underthrown. Big slip play. Slay knocks it away.
Well, that was a great center field play by Slay. Needed to get up a little bit higher to get the catch. You got to get that interception if the opportunity presents itself.
Warner fires over the middle, and Bednarik picks him off. He slips through to the 50, and Concrete Charlie, Chuck Bednarik, is down to the 47. It's a Philadelphia takeaway with 3:48 to go.
People forget that Concrete Chuck Bednarik actually played 2 positions. He played center and he played linebacker. And I guess you have him at linebacker, and the Eagles are glad that he's playing linebacker as well because he got that interception.
Concrete Charlie clinched the win of the 1960 NFL Championship by tackling the Packers' Jim Taylor in that title game. First down, he throws the slant to Retzlaff, who's pulled down awkwardly and is down to the play. Kevin Green made the tackle. It's yet another Eagle hurt in this one. Second down with 3:43 to go. The Eagles will now lean on their reserves at tight end, Zach Ertz and Keith Jackson. Van Buren gains 1. Richter with the stop.
Well, it looks like the Eagles are going to have to basically pick and scratch with the reserves that they have. Pretty good reserves, like you just said, but they got to pick and scratch at it.
That's right.
False start.
And the false start won't help.
Still third down.
Well, that time it appeared almost everybody on the offensive line jumped early on that play. Well, Philadelphia battered and bruised with the injuries and a tough football team, and the Rams, 2-time Super Bowl championship Rams and a 4-time NFL championship franchise. 10-yard gain to Keith Jackson and a first down for the former 1988 Offensive Rookie of the Year runner-up in Jackson. First down. High drama here from the Dome in St. Louis. Rams lead at 14-9. Cunningham gets rid of it to Carmichael for a short gain. 212 yards, Hank, for Randall Cunningham today.
Yeah, he's been throwing to a lot of Jacksons in this game. I was going to say
right.
Jacksons in this game. But they're completing passes and they're doing what they need to do.
McCoy inside has got the first down. You don't hear of a McCoy very much. McCoy down the block, I guess, but Brown is in. Jackson
McCoy,
is in everybody now.
Colt McCoy, Gerald McCoy, Mike McCoy.
Right. Good one. Cunningham, the human joystick, slides at the 16-yard line. He'd be a blast to use for the all-time Eagles, or really any franchise at the running back position. He was Michael Vick before Michael Vick at the quarterback position. Cunningham throws. A.J. Brown has stepped up in a big way with the injury to Mike Quick. He's got the first down, 1:35 left, and this is high drama from the Dome as the Eagles trail by 5. First and 10.
I don't see a reason why you're no huddling. You got plenty of time.
Cunningham tucks it again and is caught and dropped to the 12. The Eagles will not run the no huddle now, to your point, Hank, with a minute left. No, actually, they will.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you conserve clock. Even if you don't get it, you gotta try to conserve that clock.
Oh, that pass nearly picked off, and the clock will be stopped now. Pijos, the intended target. Randall Cunningham, as you saw, a near perfect performance. Only 5 incompletions for the game, and has been big on third down of the fourth quarter. Cunningham hit as he throws. Retzlaff has got it, and the Eagles have taken the lead.
Well, now you kind of have to go for 2 in this case. No reason why you should just kick the extra point. Even a field goal would end you if you kick the extra point, or you didn't make the 2-point conversion. You gotta at least try. You gotta find your best play and just run it for 2 yards.
Well, Steve Van Buren would be the guy running the ball. He's the single setback. 2-point try for Philadelphia. Cunningham, last time failed on a tuck, and this time on a throw. Knocked away in the end zone by Donald.
Yeah, he was late on that pass. He should have just thrown it right as he left his drop. Would have been a 2-point conversion make.
Ellard is down the ball for a touchback. If there's anyone who can deliver on this sort of situation, Jeff Wilkins, ironically, you'd think would, but he missed the field goal, which is looming large now. But also Kurt Warner, a guy that in the clutch was very good. 9-4 all-time in the postseason for the illustrious Kurt Warner. A lot of that with the Rams and the Cardinals. First down, he's back at the 20-yard line, needing about 50 yards or so for field goal range. They gained 2 there. No timeout called by Sean McVay.
Yeah, you're the greatest show on turf. You got to be throwing it a lot further than that.
Check down to Bruce. Over the middle for 7 and a timeout. This is some really perplexing play calls. The Rams are a long ways away. Wilkins, his range is about 40 to 45 yards out. Warner, 4-man rush. Fires downfield. A little bit underthrown, knocked away by Asante Samuel.
Well, the last time Asante Samuel kind of dropped the play like that, the Giants ended up scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
You wonder if that will cost the Eagles here. 4th down, and Dickerson dances to the 31. Well, you had to have the first down, and they got that. So now the Rams, you have to believe at this point, are going to test the long ball of Kurt Warner. Here we go. Rams down 1. Warner looks, guns it over the middle. That's Bruce with the catch. Bednarik with a big hit, and a gain of 17.
Looks like the Rams are trying to stash that timeout. They're in perfect position to possibly make a field goal. I'd say they're about 10 or 15 yards away from possible field goal range. You got to think like maybe the 38, 37-yard line.
Well, a great start to the drive for Warner and the Rams from their own 20, and Reggie White missed the sack, but Warner's taken down after that. A 7-yard loss. You don't see White missing it there. It was Bednarik who closed him out. Timeout Rams. It took him a long time to do that, and here we go. Barring a penalty, the Rams are going to go for the end zone here with a chance to win it on a walk-off score. Here's Warner throwing. This one's long enough into the end zone. Off of the hands of Bruce. Incomplete, and the game is over.
What a comeback by the Eagles and Randall Cunningham. And this was, almost just right off of his hands. You got to have that. You got to have that.
The Eagles survive with a brilliant fourth quarter comeback. Player of the game here in St. Louis, Chuck Bednarik. 6 tackles, a sack, and the critical interception, sparking the fourth quarter comeback. We're underway. This is the all-time rosters franchise. Joining me, Hank Cinnamon. It's Charge to 95 as the Eagles win the game 15-14.